Hey, it's Jag. Mouze Phoops.
Yeah.
Over the time since my last video, I have gotten this half shelf completely out, including the bottom shelf, the floor of the shelf, where I thought there was going to be a mess, and was there ever? Like I say, we'll get to that in a bit. Today, my main goal is to get the tool wall up behind me. I managed to scrounge up a 4 foot by 8 foot by about 2.5 foot deep shipping crate earlier this summer, and I thought, well, that would be great wood to use for a tool wall. The top and bottom of those were not recoverable. The bottom one had been kind of sitting in moisture, and there was a lot of mold and rot on it. And the top one, kind of same thing, had a lot of moss on top of it, or green kind of fungus. And I just thought those weren't really usable. But the sides were in really good shape, and they were 2 8-foot long by 2.5 foot wide sides. This is one of the two panels, the other one's behind it. And this is what I'm going to use to make my tool wall. I really do want that sort of utilitarian, just threw it up in the shop sort of look. You can see I've already screwed 3 blocks in, and that's so I can rest the first panel up there while I screw it to the wall. Right now I'm on the second of about 5 or 6 days where I have the house and the shop all to myself, and I'm deadheading it to get this done. It's about -2, -3 out. It's snowing, so it's starting to get quite cold. I've had the heaters on in here. It's about 8 or 9 degrees Celsius, comfortable enough to work in here. But not sure how much longer that will continue, or how good my bigger heater will work in the winter. We'll find out. Anyway, we're on to it. I'm going to put these panels up on the wall, and then we'll talk a little bit more about them when that's done. That's the panels, the base for the tool wall up. Pretty happy with how that's looking. Like I say, it's got the rough look, and that's what I want. On with the next thing. I think I am going to see if I can move it over here so it looks a little better. And there's one missing down at the end here too. So just going to go off camera, do that, and we'll get on to the next thing. I decided I liked the look of it better with this middle piece off, so I just took it off up there as well. And the one I took from here, I put down over at the other end to match the one up the side. I don't know if that's in the frame right now. Speaking of which, I feel the need for a new lens coming on. So my main camera is a ZV-E10. And I have never used the kit lens on that. This is my first time literally ever using the kit lens. I usually use a Sigma 16mm f1.2, and I just wanted a tighter shot. Now that I've got everything over here, I've always thought I was a little too far back from the camera, and I really like the look of this, and I like the way the tool wall fills the whole frame behind me. So going to probably work with this for a while, see how it looks. Like I say, I've never used the kit lens before. Seems to be okay, but I really do like those Sigmas, and with that really wide aperture, they're really good in low light. Right now I've got this one up to 1250 ISO, and it's at f4.5. I'd like to get the ISO lower. On my ZV-1, I have an Ulanzi wide-angle lens I often use, but I thought with this new setup and everything is kind of brought in a little more this way, that a tighter shot might be better. So I'm not using the wide-angle on there as well. So just kind of seeing how things are looking. With the luxury of some days to just do it whatever way I want, I'm going to not make a plan at all. Seems to be what I'm doing this year, not making plans. Like I said at the top of this video, I did get that shelf torn down over here, and it was a real mess underneath. Mouze Phoops is something that came from a German friend of mine, a cabinet maker and a true old world, real amazing woodworker. Thomas was a good friend for a long time, and I remember going to his shop one day, and he opened a cabinet very similar to the shelves that I had here. He opened it up and found pretty much what I found under here, and all he did was look at me dead serious and just said, "Mouze Phoops." So that became a thing. Whenever something happened that we didn't like, it was Mouze Phoops. Anyway, I got that all cleaned up. Here's sort of some detailing on that and pictures of what I found under there. Well, we won't be repurposing any of that wood. Well, I must admit, the extent to which there was yuck under here did surprise me quite a bit. I knew I'd find a fair mess under here because I know that in years past the mice have been going in and out here. I pretty much think I stopped that a few years ago, and definitely I did some things this year to make absolutely sure. I took some of this, what's it called, tight foam, and sprayed that in. There was this big crack between the footing and the wall that went all the way over to the door over there, and I had filled that. I can see some of it there now, and I had put these boards on, kind of like baseboards, and sealed them up. So I think I've been keeping the mice out of here at least recently, but I was very surprised how much stuff was here. So I went in, made a mixture, 9 parts water to 1 part bleach, saturated everything here, cleaned this up, resaturated everything, cleaned it again. Then I saturated underneath this part of the shelf as much as I could. There is a support that goes across a cross-member string, like one of these, in the middle down there. So hopefully beyond that there isn't anything, or at least not much. So once I saturated all of that, I sprayed some more bleach along the front, just under the toe kick, and made sure this was saturated. And then I got a long cutoff and kind of made a sort of a scraper and got in there and got everything out from underneath this shelf. There, I've looked in there now with a flashlight. It's very clean there. Of course, not as clean as if I could take this right out, but I think I've got all the yuck and mess out of there. Then I resaturated everything else and left it. Now what I'm going to do is continue on with this sort of baseboard situation. I'm going to put a piece of 2x4 here. I'm going to use construction adhesive to put that in because this is concrete here. I can't nail in there. And I'm going to put one there. So that's the next thing I'm doing. I've got to take off a little bit of this drywall right here so this can fit underneath. And we'll see how that all works. Well, I'm not sure how advisable it is to use construction adhesive like caulking, but I did it, and I'm sure I'll hear if it's wrong. But I just gooped a bunch of that construction adhesive in along the top, all of the seams here, just trying to keep this area sealed so the mice, if they find some way in, they can't get through there, hopefully. So like I say, I just gooped construction adhesive in there. It's a little bit cold today, so that can go, I think, to -10 Celsius. It's about -2 right now. So I wasn't sure caulking would cure properly. So I've got that. I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to just do along the front edge of this toe kick. And hopefully that's good enough for now or for the next 50 years. I'll go off camera and we'll come back to whatever the next thing is going to be. On the workbench that I reworked here, I put the retractable casters. And the instructions said it was fine to just use 2 screws in them. And on the 2 back legs, I really didn't have any territory to put more than 2 screws. On the front ones, I actually put all 6 in, and they're really solid. But on the back, the one over on the left side here actually pulled out the one of the 2 screws. So that clearly is not going to work. So I'm just going to look at just sort of sistering on another piece of 2x4 on both legs, just for the sole purpose of getting 6 screws in those casters. So I'm doing that, and then that's going to be it for today. So I was watching Jonathan Katz's Moses one day, and he likes to use these Suzanne Japanese saws a lot. And he showed a trick how you can cut even straighter with them, which I really have found works great. So you draw your line, you score it down the front and the back as well, and you can cut your line straight across the top. And then from this side, you angle your saw, and you can follow your line down here, so you get a very close to perfectly square cut. And you'll see, if you can see it on the camera here, the line right here, you'll see this saw go right through that line perfectly. So that may not be absolutely perfect. It looks pretty good to me, but it's going to work really great for this bench. So now I'm ready to put these on and remount the casters. Well, I did say that it's a little cold, but I'm going to try some glue anyway. This has actually been in the house, so it's house room temperature. I'm going to get some glue on the back of these new pieces that we're putting sistering on here. And I'll probably drill some screws too to hold it really tight. But we'll get the glue on both of them, both sides first, and then I'll see where I go from there. I don't want to deal too much with glue squeeze out, so I'm not going to go right to the edge if possible. Going to leave those clamped up for a while, see if the glue sets or not, but the screws will at least help. I'm going to move over and do the other one now. This would probably work a lot better if the wheels were on going into the face, not the side. I don't like these screws, they're pretty cheap, but I've got all 6 of them in on all 4 wheels. They've been holding on the front ones, they seem just fine, so hopefully they'll hold here too. If I have problems, I'll take those screws out, beef them up, and put them in from this side. I kind of don't want to do that because I'll trip over them more there than over here. I suppose I have some other options as well. I could sister another 2x4 on here, to this stuff and then mount them that way. But that's if they come loose. Hopefully they won't. I had 2 screws before, now I have 6. And 4 of the new ones are into the newer wood. This wood on this bench is so dry, it was like nothing to drill it or screw these screws in, so I'm not surprised that they pulled out. But I don't see any sign of that happening on the ones that were mounted with 6 to begin with. So we're going to go with this, and hopefully we don't have any more issues. So that's it for today. Got quite a bit of work done, actually, between yesterday and today. It took most of yesterday. Yesterday morning I came out and I got that bottom shelf cut and taken off in less than 15 minutes. But with that major mess under there, I literally spent the whole day getting things cleaned, disinfected. So yesterday was kind of chewed up by taking care of all of that. But out here today, I've gotten a lot done. I got the, I've sealed up all around the bottom here, so hopefully we've really discouraged mice from coming in here ever again. It should be really obvious at least now if they do. I got the a good start on the tool wall. Probably go around this and break these edges with a little bit of sandpaper. I haven't gotten any splinters, and I've been working with them in bare hands, but they can't. They are a little splintery here, and I don't really want to be getting splinters every time I'm putting tools in or taking them out. So I'll probably go around it with a little bit of sandpaper, just lightly. I'm not going to seal this, at least right now. I may do it next year when the weather gets warmer. It's, as I said earlier, about -3 out there. I just think it's too cold for any kind of finish to properly cure on here. Linseed oil is probably what I will end up putting on it, but for now I'm going to leave it. I don't mind the look. To me, it's looking good in the camera. Might look a little richer if I seal it, but we'll see what happens. Right now, what I want to do is get my shop back into a usable state. So for this one, that's it. Stay tuned. The next video coming will be some real deadheading on getting stuff done in here. I'm kind of at the point where I think I can put a lot of my tools and stuff away and start planning what I need to do on the wall here. So like always, please check my band One Soul Thrust. The links, as always, are in the description below. And until the next video, we'll see you.